I've tripled my revenue while working fewer hours. And it all started with one simple shift, making fun a non negotiable part of my business. Years ago, I used to go to the beach with my friends, but I'd stay inside to catch up on marketing that I never had time for. But now, just this past week, I dropped everything to take my son on a last minute beach trip, and I actually enjoyed every minute of it without a single worry about my work. So, what makes the difference? Today, let's talk about how building fun into your business isn't just possible, it's profitable. Welcome to the Establish Yourself podcast, your guide to elevating your brand, offers, and systems as a coach, consultant, or service provider. I'm Annie Franceschi of Greatest Story Creative. I'm a brand strategist, author, former Disney storyteller, and forever Muppet fan. If you're ready for next level success, we'll get clear on your brand, package your process, and streamline your systems so you can land quality clients, boost profit, and make time for big dreams in your business and beyond. If you're ready for less confusion and more magic, it's time to establish yourself. So I come from corporate America. I used to work for the Walt Disney Studios in Los Angeles, California. And it'd be typical that I would work a 55-hour week, a 60-hour week. So when I started my business in 2013, I thought that was just how you worked. I remember skipping a beach day with friends to update my portfolio because I never had time to do it otherwise. But the truth was, I wasn't making time for fun, whether that was personal fun or fun within my business. And I was burning out. I was saying yes to projects that weren't profitable, clients that weren't aligned, all because I thought that's what success looked like. I thought success was long hours and being serious and that you got to work hard, play hard, that whole idea. But what I have found in practice and in doing this work for coming up on 12 years, having fun isn't just nice, it's necessary. When I had emulated what I thought I had to do, I was miserable. Working nonstop, delivering work I didn't even enjoy, working 50 to 60-hour weeks. Now, and for the majority of my career, I've been averaging 25 to 30 hours. My revenue has tripled. I make more money and get better results in less time. And I have more fun. So today, I want to walk you through what's helped me and what I help my clients do too, which is to create a coaching, consulting, or service-based business that prioritizes fun, flexibility, and profit. And don't worry, you don't have to do all of this at once. I'm going to give you small steps you can try this week. Let's think about your week. When I started writing my second book, Establish Yourself, back in 2021, I needed time every single week to move that book forward. So I began doing what I call no meeting Mondays. No meetings on Mondays to get that book out the door. I loved it so much that I've continued to do it. I love Mondays. You know why? I have a completely free day to work on podcast episodes, offer development, business development, networking, whatever I want to do. This has been the key to writing a 300-page book in a year, launching a podcast, staying sane, and not dreading Monday. I've also gone on to have no meeting Fridays. So now all my meetings are on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, if I can help it. I have a built-in 4-day weekend every week. I have a dedicated Monday and Friday to get my big things done. And I didn't even know that this was a thing. A lot of entrepreneurs take a no meeting day or a no meeting Monday. So I want to encourage you, maybe one thing you might think about for this week is to look at your calendar for the month and pick one no meeting day. Doesn't have to be Monday. I was helping my client, Sarah, who I had done a VIP day for and was doing longer term work with her to help her come up with her ideal week. Mondays, she likes doing coaching calls, and that worked well for her clients. So she actually opts for Tuesdays. We figured out Tuesdays could be her flex day. She uses those days for networking, professional development, and she saves the afternoon for something she finds fun, gardening. Gardening's not my fun thing. I kill just about every plant I even look at. But for Sarah, that's what lights her up, and that's what she's making time for to be the best person and the best coach she can be. The magic isn't in the day, it's the intentional space. Think you can't afford that time? Well, don't need to set a whole day. Try half a day. Block it like you would a client appointment. Now that you've opened some space up in your week, let's zoom out to a bigger picture. I take the entire month of December off. I call it Batch December. That started way back in 2016. My business was suddenly thriving after I generated a ton of interest from some workshops I led. But what I realized is I did not have streamlined systems to support those clients. So I hit pause, I hit the brakes, and I took the entire month of December off from client work to make sure I had those systems, to make sure I could deliver for these clients and they would come back for more. It was so powerful and so productive. I became the hugest fan of Batch December, and I've done it 8 times every single year since that very first one. This is critical time for me to reset, work on the business, or do nothing at all. It's whatever I need to get ready for the year ahead. I have batched the first 6 episodes of this very podcast. I have outlined one of my books. I have read a book. I have just taken time off to be with my family. My clients love it. I have a growing list of at least 8 or 9 people who have started their own Batch December, but they do it in their way. So my client, Wendy, she doesn't take a whole month off. Instead, she takes a week every quarter. So it's the same concept, more energy, gives her great quarterly planning. And you know what? It adds up to a month. Not that a month is magic, but it doesn't hurt. I'll tell you that. I even don't wait for December. About once a quarter to every 6 months, I have been going to Disney World by myself to do a strategic planning retreat. That's my version of a golf retreat. If you love golf, great. It's not for me. My happy place is the Magic Kingdom. That's where I go to rest, I plan, and I come back with fresh new ideas, offers, and even my new lead magnet, the referral intro generator. This doesn't have to mean that you even leave the city that you're in. A friend of mine who's a CEO coach, she often takes herself to a local hotel and does a staycation. So she just gets lunch by the pool and has that reset without ever getting on a plane. I even do this on the micro level. At least once a week, I work outside my house, outside my home office, just because I love the novelty and the creativity and the fun of that. So, one of the things I would encourage you to be thinking about this week is to schedule one batch day this quarter at a hotel, a library, a coffee shop, Walt Disney World. The sky's the limit. No clients, just clarity. Time to think and work on the things that light you up in your business and beyond. If you want more information about this, I do talk a lot about Batch December and how I overall use systems like this to find creative time in my book, Establish Yourself. So we're starting to think about how to have more fun by freeing up our time. Something else that has only come to me in the past few years is an important mindset shift: self inclusion. This concept was first introduced to me by Beth Ruffin. She's an inclusivity and belonging expert, and she has a podcast called You Belong Here with Beth Ruffin. And when I worked with Beth to write her brand voice guide and got to know what she teaches, I love this concept of self inclusion. I had never heard of it, but it made so much sense. It was the idea that, yes, it's important to make others feel included, but it is incredibly important that we include ourselves. For the majority of my decade plus career as an entrepreneur, I have not been very good at including myself in the story. So, one of the things that I set out to do in the past few years to have more fun in my business was to check in with, well, what is fun for me? And how am I making space for me in the work that I am doing? I literally have since put on my calendar time for Annie. It is a block on Monday mornings, Friday afternoons. Having that date reminds me of a really important concept, which is it's not just about keeping clients happy or keeping my partner happy or taking great care of my child or being with friends and family. It's about me too. including myself in the conversation. And if it's not fun for me, am I going to be successful in doing it? These are really important conversations to have. So, one way you might apply this is to ask yourself, is that client going to energize you? Is this client going to leave you proud? Is this work going to excite you? Recently, I just turned down a big project because I saw some red flags, flags I've seen over a long time and hundreds of clients in the past. Old me, at the very beginning of my business, would have said yes and would have slogged through it. But new me values my peace over people pleasing. My sanity is not for sale, and my fun is important to prioritize. Another way I keep my business fun, I only do marketing that I actually enjoy. For example, I love to speak. I don't actually love to write, even though I have written 3 books. So, what I have done is build myself what I call a consistency container. A consistency container is a repeatable content system that fits me. You might hear of it as thought leadership. It's the idea of doing ongoing marketing that helps people discover you, get to know, like, and trust you so they want to work with you or refer you to their friends. So I believe in that so strongly. I've done many over the years. I have done a workshop series, I've done a business interview series, and this podcast is my current consistency container. I love to talk, I love to teach, and doing it in this format allows me to do the parts that I like and then delegate the rest. One of the big mistakes I see with coaches and consultants is that they are trying to slog through marketing that they actually hate. They're blogging when they don't like to write. They're doing a podcast when they don't like to talk. We want to find that alignment and create a consistency container, a repeatable system. This is a system I share more about and give you some examples of in my book, Establish Yourself. But the baseline that I want you to know is that any great system that allows you to produce dozens of episodes or dozens of articles or posts is something you actually like to do. It starts with what lights you up. So I want you to take a few minutes this week to consider, what marketing activities do you actually enjoy? Not those that you think you should do or you have to do, but do a little brainstorm. What are those things that you naturally really like to do? Could one of those become a consistency container? Okay, you've been listening so far, and let's get to the reality, which is not everything in business is going to be fun or can be made fun, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean that you have to be the one doing all of the non fun stuff. For the things that are not fun but have to get done, I do one of two things. One is I batch it, like taxes. I pull that band aid off once or twice a year and go through all my stuff to meet with my accountant, and I move on. I play some nice music. I might do it out at a coffee shop. I add a little bit of fun to that not fun moment, but hey, those things have to happen. And for things that have to happen more regularly, I delegate. I meet with my assistant, Sarah, once or twice a month, and we build systems that can work without me. I can run my membership meeting once a month, and she and her team will put up the recording for me, and I don't have to worry about that. I can spend that time that afternoon using my energy in parts of my business that I really want to show up for, like recording this podcast or being able to show up at my son's school for field day. There are going to be things that are not fun, but I think that there are ways to bring a little joy to the mundane by batching and then asking for help, delegating out what you really don't like to do to free up your focus, your time, your flexibility, and your fun muscles, right? To come up with better ideas, more exciting work, because you're not being bogged down in the constant administrative pull of what's going on. So I want you to look at the tasks you're dreading this week. Is there a way to batch them, to set a specific meeting time on your calendar that you're like, I'm going to eat the frog, do the hard thing, and eat a chocolate muffin at the same time to make it fun? By the same extension, is there anything on your calendar you could delegate this week just to help make that a little bit easier in your life? It's easy to hear all of the emphasis today that I've put on fun and to feel pressure like, your business has to be so fun or it's not great. I don't want to go the other extreme. I think that too many people teach that business is this really serious, hard, not fun thing, but I also don't want you to feel silly if you are doing hard work, if you are taking it seriously. I take many things in my business seriously. I think there's a happy medium, happy in the emphasis, right? So I don't want you to get overwhelmed by this. I really want you to take away from today's episode that there are really great opportunities to build more fun into the work you do. And when you do that, it's not just nice, it's necessary. If you enjoy your business more, you show up differently. You have better ideas, you get clients better results, you continue to grow and thrive in your business and in your life. You enjoy the time in your business and you enjoy the time away. Both feed each other. So, here are some of the common mistakes I see when it comes to trying to add a little bit more fun. One is don't try to copy somebody else's idea of fun. Not me, not my schedule, etc. If you're inspired by something I do, try it, but trust your own style. I also encourage you not to keep offers or clients that are draining you, that do feel like a slog because they're quote unquote what's working. It can be time to find more fun, to free up your model, your offers, your clients. I do help clients do that work. I think delegating is really important and not waiting to get things off your calendar, especially if you're underwater. It's really time to delegate details. And last but not least is don't wait for permission. I think we forget the fact that we're our own bosses and we inherit the corporate America and others' expectations of us. And it's really not common to hear a business owner talk about prioritizing fun. That is why I'm doing this episode. I want you to know that your business does not need to look good on paper to anybody. It just needs to feel good to you. If this is resonating with you, I go even deeper into this approach, my systems, batch December, scheduling tips, mindset shifts, all of it in my best-selling book, Establish Yourself, Brand, Streamline, and Grow Your Greatest Business. And I've got a gift for you. Today, I'm going to give you the first chapter of it for free. So if you want the first 50 pages so you can start reading and applying what's inside right away, just head over to greateststorycreative.com/read and claim your free chapter now. And if you're inspired to put this into action, here are 3 quick wins you can try this week. 1, block one no meeting Monday. 2, add 1 hour of you time to your calendar. And 3, pick a marketing task you like and repeat it. I want you to pick one small or big way you can add more joy to your business and come tell me about it on LinkedIn. I promise it'll be fun and I'm cheering you on because you're the boss and it's time you truly enjoyed that fact. Hey, do you like surprises? Here comes the show's credits, but just like a Marvel movie, stay to the end so you don't miss something fun I put in just for you. Thanks for tuning in to the Establish Yourself podcast. I'm Annie Franceschi, and I want to hear from you. Follow me on LinkedIn. Share your favorite takeaway from today's episode as a comment on my latest post. Mention your favorite Muppet in your message so I know you're a fan of the show. And for expert branding help, a free consultation, and more resources, visit greateststorycreative.com/podcast. Now, here it is, your moment of magic. I was driving home the other day and I saw my son on his bike. He just learned how to ride a pedal bike. He had a big grin on his face, his red helmet, just totally beaming. I caught him in the rearview mirror and I thought, this is an any better moment. Like, life does not get any better than this. Would this moment be any better if I had 5 times the amount that's in my bank account, a perfect house? No, this is it. I think we forget to mark the any better moments in the work we do, in the lives we lead, but that's where the magic lives, in those any better moments.